If you are a real estate agent, you're not sure how to present the fee that you will be charging your client and who's going to be paying that fee. You're not sure how you're going to be conducting the business with your buyer clients. So basically, I want to break it down in this video, and the scripts that you're going to have and you're going to be using are going to dictate your business overall. If you have your scripts down to a couple of sentences, really that's what it takes to present that agreement and explain the process and your value and everything else, your business is going to be a smooth sailing. If you don't have your scripts down, you're going to be confusing clients. They're going to get worried. They're not going to understand what you're talking about. They're going to be really bounced around and really get confused, and they're going to interview other agents because they don't really understand what you're talking about. So a couple of things is this. Of course, the buyers are concerned about signing this agreement because they never used to sign it. There's a lot of buyers that never bought a home, so they don't know how the process looks. Just keep that in mind. So whatever they're going to be told, they're going to do it. Plus, they've heard everywhere now that they will have to sign an agreement, and then there's potentially a risk that they will have to pay the money for their broker, which is all true, but we need to present it in a way that doesn't scare them away. And plus, I'll tell you that my honest opinion is that most of the times they will not be paying that fee. You have to understand that every single real estate agent is the buyer's agent, and then is the listing agent. Some of you do more buyers, some of you do more sellers, but you're both. You're helping people achieve their real estate needs. So every time the buyer reaches out to you and wants to buy a house, you need to conduct home buyer consultation. And I think those who do consultations will win more business. And the ones that don't do consultations and just do it over the phone real quick, and let's go see some homes, I just need to send you an agreement that you will need to sign, those will be the ones that will get something going, but they will be also losing clients. And they don't even know that they lost a client because this client is not signing an agreement. They're, for some reason, not opening my emails. They're not getting back in touch with me. They bought with somebody else. You will meet with the buyer, and you're conducting 30 minutes. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's an hour and a half. I've always done these consultations, the best way to meet clients. Usually they will come as a family. Depends on who's the buyer, but usually you would want to have everybody there. They usually will have lots of questions. You will maybe send the lender before that, or maybe you will talk to them and then you'll tell them to go to the lender after the meeting. You will introduce the process. We usually have the guide, and then we'll have the agreement. And so you explain everything, what goes into a home buying, when is the offer being presented, what goes into the offer, why do we need the pre-approval, the inspection, appraisal, everything that goes into a home buying process. And then you're going to be talking about the agreement. Since August 17 of this year, 2024, we're required now before touring homes to have representation agreement with our clients' buyers. I don't know if you've heard about it, but this has been class action, national lawsuit. So every single real estate agent is required to have this signed. Basically, the terms here are that we will have the timeline from when we start to when we finish. Usually, I like to do it for 180 days because we don't want to, that's how many, it takes a couple of months to find the property and then put it on the contract and then close successfully for our clients. I don't want to renew it because I keep track of it. I'm going to be forgetting about it. But my contract is cancelable anytime unless it's after all contingencies before the closing. That's when we can't really cancel. My contract is for 180 days, but it's cancelable anytime. If you feel like you're not getting enough value, just write me an email and cancel this anytime. A couple months ago, we hosted a real estate career night. And we're doing it again. This time, it's going to be bigger, better. We're adding a networking session to answer all of your questions. There will be food, drinks. You definitely don't want to miss it. October 10th, 6:30 p.m., reserve your spot. The second thing is going to say there that there's my responsibilities to you. Look for properties, send you properties, present you offers, negotiate contract, appraisal, and everything that goes into the process that we just spoke about a couple minutes ago. And then there's a fee. My fee is X%. But before you think that you will have to pay this, I will go to the sellers and I will ask the seller to pay that fee. Basically, we're going to do it together. In the offer, we're going to request the seller to pay that fee for you, which is that's how it's always been done. The seller was paying the buyer's agent, and it was always built into the price. So I will always ask for that fee to be covered by the seller. Seller sometimes covers it. Sometimes they will decide to cover some portion. Some sellers maybe decide not to pay at all. My opinion is that 90% of the sellers will be covering the whole thing. 5% will probably be covering the portion, and then the rest 5% probably will be covering nothing. So if you decide to put an offer on a house that doesn't cover anything, we can move on, or we can increase the price by a certain amount, and then get that certain amount as a credit, so you have the money to cover the commission. If you don't choose to do either one, if the seller is not paying anything, or you need to come out with the difference, and you don't want to do either one, we move on to the next house. Basically, when you share that with the buyer, pretty much they got it. And if they feel that there's doors open, they can cancel you anytime, because, well, now I'm going to sign with you. Now you're not going to pick up the phone. Now you're going to start pushing something at me, and I have to pay you. Those are the fears that buyers have in their head. So if you eliminate those, all right, well, what's another piece of paper that I need to sign when I heard that I have to sign something in order to buy? You have to keep them informed that they don't pay if they don't buy. Huge one. They don't pay if they don't want to pay. And first of all, we're going to ask it from the seller. And my agreement is cancelable anytime. If you cover all these 4 points, you're going to be good. The purpose of this video, to make you get your script down, say that confidently, because everybody is going to be working by the same rules, and there's going to be people that are not going to be working by the same rules, like there always is. But you know, they're going to get caught here and there. The word will spread. There's going to be an agent who's going to show houses without agreement. That buyer is going to spread the word. That agent's going to get reported, and the agent's going to get fined. So sooner or later, everybody's going to do it the way it's supposed to be done, by the book. I will for sure do it by the book, and everyone in our office will have to do it by their book. It's our policy. And I think this change will make the industry better, because everybody's just going to take it more seriously, and there's going to be no agents running around showing properties to buyers that not only don't have a pre-approval, but they don't even want to commit to one agent. Now it's going to be professional services, and everybody's going to get trained, and everybody's going to respect themselves and take their career seriously. And that's going to benefit the buyers, and that's going to benefit the sellers as well. So I think at the end of the day, this is a good thing. You know, people don't know like who they're dealing with all of the times. Like sometimes people have fears because they don't trust you yet. And so sometimes maybe you need to come up with a one-day agreement. And sign it and do one showing, so at least the people can have some sort of sense of who you are as an agent, maybe sometimes. Because some buyers, you know, they were referred to you, they not feeling you because you're only doing a conversation over the phone, you don't do in-person consultation. And maybe they don't have too much information to rely and back their opinion on. So they're not 100% yet sure who they're going to work with. So you're going to get some pushback on that. That's why I think the consultations are very important. And also when you're on the seller side, you're going to get a buyer who's going to be buying and then selling. You don't want to push the buyer's agent commission on the seller too. The client who's buying and selling, they probably going to understand this a little bit better than just a seller who's going to sell and then move out of state. Let's say if they already have something else, some other property. Let's say they're only selling. A lot of times they will ask you, should we pay? Should we not pay? I believe most of the sellers understand the concept that some buyers cannot pay the commission. They don't have the money. They're scrambling to come up with a down payment. And if they only hear about the fact that they have to pay for their agent, the whole home buying process now becomes a big question. Now every buyer knows what their agent is making, which is a good thing. It's just now I have to raise it by $10,000 in order for my agent to get $10,000. Now I'm really paying $950 or whatever the price is, because that's my agent is built into it. But I will relieve the secret right now. It's always been like that. There's always been the agent's commissions built into the price of your house. So if you don't feel like you are asking for the money at the consultation, if you feel like you're providing the information and telling them that if you don't buy, you don't pay, and you don't have to buy, you can cancel me anytime, and then we will be asking for that fee from the seller, buyer has no questions. All the questions answered, Let's go look at the houses. Hope you have a good one. See you on the next one.